There once was a girl who wanted to sit, but sadly she didn't know where. So Dad went out to the workshop and said, "I'm making my daughter a chair." The very first step was to pick out the wood, as the workshop had quite a big stash. For the legs of the chair, only walnut would do, while the seat, arms and back would be ash. Precision was needed when cutting the stock, the angles within 1 degree. So we don't use the handsaw. We don't use the miter saw. The right choice must be CNC. The angles were perfect, so Dad could proceed to glue up the stock for the frame. After squeezing the glue and clamping the joints for 2 days and nights, it remained. Meanwhile, at the laptop, with a tippity tap and a click,
Oh yeah.
Dad refined the design. The sides were styled in deep dark wood, and the seat had a gentle recline. The final detail to finish it off was a heart on the back of the chair, for that is the way that a woodworking dad shows his daughter he cares. By this point in the project, Dad was a very hungry caterpillar, so he started to look for some food. He felt much better after eating a snack and returned to unclamp the wood. Anyway. The time had come to cut out the legs. They're fixed using tape and some glue. In theory, it should all be nicely aligned, but let's see if that's true. The result was a triumph, a total success. Even Otter was inclined to agree. Now the left leg is done, it's time for the right. Let's head back for some more CNC. Just then, the client dropped by to review what she thought, what to change, and what to keep. We discussed the design and the work so far, then she left for some milk and a sleep.
Well, it does need a bit more, doesn't it?
It needs a little bit. Do you think it needs a little bit? Yes, I agree. That's what that bit is over there. Chair.
Now the ash for the seat has a beautiful grain, with waves like a mermaid's hair. First we chop, make some chips, and then fiddle with our bits. And hey presto, the seat of a chair. Well, you might think this seat is ready to go, for we can all see how well it fits. But it's far too rough and we can't have that, so Dad sanded up through the grits. The dust from the sanding tickled Dad's nose. He sneezed out a noisy achoo! So on went a mask, for breathing in dust is not something that you should do. Up next, we'll try and imagine all the things this wood could be. Perhaps you thought of 2 armrests or back slats. 1, 2, 3. If you want to learn how one board became these 5 fine furniture features, then sit up straight and listen well, for Dad is about to teach you. We rough cut to length on the miter saw. Then the table makes each width as planned. Now, thickness is tricky, so we cut from both sides. And then finish the last bit by hand. To cut out each shape, we'll use the machine, with tape to fix it securely. Whilst most things went well, a couple of times the pieces came unstuck prematurely. Dad chose a chisel to chop at the end, for each shoulder must be 90 degrees. Well, he did his best, but hand tools aren't yet his area of expertise. The time had arrived for a test assembly. Let's hope that it will all fit. The results looked good, so we're one step closer to a place for a toddler to sit. Up next, it was clear that a trip to the router was needed to add on a chamfer. We don't want any sharp corners remaining, so to be sure, this is the answer. Whilst all was set up on the scary router table, the legs got a chamfer as well. So here's a wide shot, here's a close shot, and the results are pretty good, as you can tell. One special detail of which Dad is quite proud is where the seat chamfer meets with the leg. To get this just right, needs 2 blocks clamped precisely and a shot of the back of Dad's head. The heart in this project is found at the back of the chair, made from walnut and cherry. And this moment was the perfect excuse to expand my daughter's wood dictionary. Can you say cherry? Cherry. Cherry. A word of advice: get a workshop assistant, because 4 hands are better than 2.
Yay!
They can run little errands, make cups of tea, and fetch you things like the glue. The heart was now ready to join together with the glue that Dad here is applying. As the pieces united, they popped and they clicked in a way that was very satisfying. We have now reached the stage where the donkey work is done. You what? It's time for the final assembly. So Dad prepared a kit for the chair that even IKEA would envy. With a dib-dab-dot, Dad did add a dip-drip-drop of oil. A tip-top job, at points a slog, that finished it once and for all. The oil was applied with patches masked off to ensure the glue would adhere. And then, at last, it all came together in the montage that you're seeing here. The chair was clamped up in every which way. It looked like Frankenstein's monster. But as he unclamped, Dad saw that he'd created no ghoul, but a seat for a toddler. Alas, now beckons the end of the story. But don't be sad, for it's time to see. The end result, a small wooden chair made from ash, from walnut and cherry. As for the girl, well, at last she could rest, have a pause, take the weight off her feet. She seemed quite at home and rather pleased with the gift of her own wooden seat. And as any makers out there will attest, there's a certain joy that you'll discover when you put your heart into making a piece and then see it enjoyed by another. Well, that's the end of the story. Do you think you're ready for bed now? Yeah? Okay. Let's head off to bed.